Well, hello, Carol.
Well, hello, Daryl.
It is October.
It is.
It is.
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
I think you're a couple months early on that song, according to most people. No? All right. Then. This is the month that gives Carol life out of the other 11 months of the year.
It does. I can finally shop for home decor.
It was there all year. You know, regular home decor was there.
No.
If you just driven by any party cities and your car just randomly makes its own U-turns.
Yep, indeed it does. Spirit store.
So it's the scary time of the year. Man.
That's right. So it's time for us to do some horror movies.
Time for us to do some horror movies. What we did last year, what we'll be doing again this year. This is Refried Scenes, by the way.
Oh, hi. Yeah.
We are your hosts, Carol and Daryl. We're going to, for those of y'all who might not be too familiar with this because you're not one of the patrons, we're releasing 2 free regular shows of which Carol and I pick a movie and its remake, and then we just kind of discuss them and figure which one we like better.
Yep.
That's why it's called Refried.
Indeed.
What movie are we kicking off with?
Carrie.
Kicking off with Carrie.
Yes.
All right, then I'm ready to get down with this get down if you are ready.
Carrie. So the original came out in 1976. Based on Stephen King's first published novel.
Yeah, man, good for him.
Yeah. deviates wildly from the novel. It's been years since I've read the book.
Okay.
But I do know the book was told in newspaper clippings. And
the entire book?
Yeah. There's no
narrative.
No narrative, really. It's like newspaper clippings, witness reports, and excerpts from Susie Snell's memoir.
Oh, interesting way to tell an entire damn story like that.
Yeah, so this of course, you can't really film a film like that, so they actually have a narrative.
Yeah, so the only thing that really bugs me about this is we never find out how she got these powers, where they came from, what they are.
It is hinted at in the book and talked about in the remake, which we'll get to.
All right.
But in this original one, no. She just
got shit.
She just got shit, yeah.
Yeah.
So, Carrie, 1976, starring Sissy Spacek as Carrie.
Come on, Carol, this is in front of the paywall. We got to be professionals here.
Sissy Spacek as Carrie. Amy Irving, future ex-Mrs. Steven Spielberg. And Sue Snell.
I did not know that.
Yeah, okay. Nancy Allen, the future ex-Mrs. De Palma, as Chris Hartigan, and William Catt, looking ever so groovy.
Ever so cute.
And an incredibly young John Travolta.
Incredibly young John Travolta.
Yeah.
William Catt's hair is just amazing.
It's amazing, and you can tell that's all his hair.
Oh, yeah. That's all his. And he wants you to know it's all his.
That's right. So our movie opens with a volleyball game. It's high school. Mm-hmm. And Carrie White, our title character, is not doing well. No. I feel for her. PE was my worst nightmare, and at least she tries. She tries to hit the ball. She just fails.
Wait a minute. The remake opens with the volleyball game. I thought the original just opens in the showers.
No, this one opens with the volleyball game. It's outdoors, not in the water.
Was I doing something when I pressed play?
It's a very short scene, just of Carrie missing the ball and everyone telling her to eat shit because they're mean girls.
Oh, high school is ruthless.
It is, man. High school, it sucks.
Yeah.
No matter what decade.
Unless you're the star quarterback.
That's true.
Or on the starting 5 of the basketball team, or you're the pitcher.
So once we get that brief glimpse of the volleyball game, then we get the credit sequence, which is incredibly unique. Slow-mo locker room scene with lots of full frontal nudity.
I've been informed that this is not what actually happens in women's locker rooms.
No, generally we don't just walk around naked, goofing around and smacking each other with towels. And
okay, we just don't have the goods exposed to everybody.
No,
all right, then. Well, that's one misconception.
Particularly not
right
in
there.
High school, because high school students are such creatures of
so self-conscious about everything.
Yeah, and they're monsters. They would make fun of you for
for anything, any little thing. What is
so
that?
Why are you going to give them any sort of fuel?
Yeah.
So the girls are just all laughing and giggling and bouncing, And
Oh, De Palma. This was filmed with the male gaze in mind.
well, Nancy Allen does go full frontal
Oh,
here.
yeah.
Meanwhile, Carrie is taking the world's longest high school shower. Nobody takes this long in the high school shower.
No, she was taking like the just got off work, I'm relaxing at home shower.
Seriously,
It's a long day.
it's like you'd stumbled into a Cinemax movie.
Soaping up the thighs all nice and good.
Yeah, the piano music is all just romantic, and everything's filmed in slow motion.
I was looking for the herbal essence bottle.
Yeah, and then Carrie gets her period, and the illusion is gone.
Shattered immediately. You got about 2 minutes to enjoy this, and then the red flows.
Yes. And unfortunately, Carrie has never had her period before, so she thinks she's dying.
It's like in some ways I was like, in other ways I'm like, oh, this is just there's probably people that are like this.
That are like this, yes.
Yeah.
I had 4 older sisters, so I knew what was coming. But
Yeah.
there are probably people who grew up, as Carrie did, in ultra-religious households where they don't discuss things like this, who just have no idea what's going on.
Right.
And she freaks out. And like
Oh, yeah.
begging people to help her because she's dying. And teenage girls being teenage girls, they just open the locker of pads, because apparently the school has a locker of pads and tampons.
It's not a bad idea.
No,
But
it isn't.
I feel like most schools might not have that.
No, they don't.
Okay.
And just start throwing them at her and
Yeah.
yelling,
Plug it up."
plug it up.
Jesus Christ.
And of course, Carrie's just like blubbering mess.
Yeah.
And the instigator of most of this is Chris, who's played by Nancy Allen,
Jesus.
bitch extraordinaire.
Man.
But everybody's kind of getting in on it. But I don't think at this point the girls know that Carrie is clueless as to what is happening.
In the moment, no.
Yeah.
I feel like they do realize, like, oh, she doesn't know.
I think it's when Mrs. Collins comes in, because the gym teacher comes in and just smacks the shit out of Carrie.
Right.
We're going to talk about Mrs. Collins because I don't know whether she's the best damn teacher in the world or the worst damn teacher in the world.
She's a great shield for Carrie. We'll say that much.
Yes, but she smacks the shit out of Carrie. And it's like, it's just your period. And Carrie has no idea. So she's like, oh shit, now I got to explain this to her.
Yeah, right. See you once a month.
Yeah. So she says, natural. It's okay. Everything's going to be okay. But Carrie is like, at this point, she's hyper. And
She's over
she
the top
explodes a
at this
light bulb.
point.
She explodes a light bulb. Now everyone thinks this is just coincidence, I guess.
I mean, I would assume so.
You're not
No
gonna
person in
believe-
their right mind would connect those two things.
No. So, but Mrs. Collins takes her to the principal's office, who can't remember her damn name.
That kind of annoyed me. I'm not going to lie to you.
He's corrected 4 times in this scene.
Cassie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Carrie, of course, is getting more and more irritated. And they send her home, and he calls her Cassie one more time, and she's like, "It's Carrie," and explodes his ashtray.
Yeah, man, just this smoking in the office, huh?
Yeah, it's the 70s. Again, nobody notices that the ashtray just kind of exploded.
Yeah, right.
No one said, that's odd. They just kind of pick up the lit cigarette.
He's like, well, hey, these are seriously expensive. Don't waste that.
Fuck the ashtray. My kids made that. So Carrie walks home because they send her home because she's had a hard day.
Yeah.
And she probably has cramps.
Also that.
And on her way home, she is accosted by some really bad ADR. This little kid on a bike comes zooming by her, and this is I've seen this movie several times, and it makes me laugh every single time because the ADR, I don't know who De Palma got to ADR this kid, but it's like, crazy Carrie, and she knocks him over, and it's like, ah. The whole scene's like, crazy Carrie, ah. And I swear it's one of the I say teenage girls. These are all women in their 20s.
Yeah, 20s.
At least. Probably one of them.
just got one
It's
of them
probably
to
PJ Souls or Nancy Allen's like,
Go into
"Come
the booth
here."
real quick.
Yeah, you're going to ADR this kid.
It was brought up, why was that kid in school? This is the middle of the
I
day.
know. But Carrie goes home, and her mom is not at home. Her mom is on a mission from God.
As you do in
She
this
is
town.
bugging Mrs. Snell, Susie's mom, who is played by Priscilla Pointer, who is actually Amy Irving's mom. So,
Oh, really?
yeah. So Sue Snell's mom was played by Sue
Sue
Snell's mom.
No wonder the casting was so accurate looking.
So we get to meet Mrs. White, played to the hilt by Piper Laurie.
Yeah, hair just looking amazing.
And
flowing.
she's flowing. She's got her cape on. She's got her basket full of Bible books. And she's there to tell Mrs. Snell that all the kids are going to hell.
She's just feeling righteous that day. She woke up extra righteous.
And she's got books for, calming your getting your teenager to God. And Mrs. Snell, I love the fact that Mrs. Snell is like, here's $10, please go away.
Pretty much.
And Mrs. White's like, oh, it's like that, is it? And,
yes, it's like that.
but she takes the $10.
Of course she does. So. Now, it was my assumption, because I think this is maybe my third time seeing it all the way through. It was my assumption that she had a job, but now, is this her job?
I think that is her job.
Is this how she makes her money?
Looking at the state of their house and the fact that you never see electricity. The sewing machine she uses is foot pedal.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking that that's probably a family house that's paid off and they have no rent or anything.
Right.
If you look at Sissy Spacek, obviously she doesn't eat.
Yes.
Doesn't also get any sun.
No. Although when she got older in life, all of her freckles disappeared. It was weird. I was looking at her in Castle Rock. I was like, I thought she was freckly. No,
she's very freckly here.
Yeah, yes, she is. Yes, she is.
Get to see all the freckles.
No, yes, you do.
Incidentally, Sissy Spacek is married to the production designer of this film.
Still?
Hey,
what do you know? Something good that came out of Hollywood.
Yeah, they actually got married a year before this movie came out. She was, I think she was 24, 25 when this came out.
Oh, okay.
And they're still married.
Hey, one of the three marriages in Hollywood that lasted more than 4 years.
She's not the ex-Mrs. Anything. Also, odd little tidbit, because Piper Laurie plays Mrs. White here. This was her comeback film. Because she took like a 15-year hiatus from film and did stage work. And the film she did prior to this one, she was nominated for Best Supporting Actress. And then this was her comeback, and she was nominated for Best Supporting Actress. So
she came back hard.
She's like back-to-back nominations, 15 years apart.
Okay. Oh, okay. So
it's weird.
She's like, look, I got to keep this ratio up. I'll see y'all in 2072. I might win that time.
From what I understand, she does not like this film. But she seemed to have the funnest time with this role.
Oh, she hams it up in this movie.
Yeah, she is just playing to the hilt here. She is just like, she's playing for the back seats.
Yeah, I feel like the palm was like a little more over the top.
Could you give us a little more, Piper?
Yeah, they treated her like the Kubrick treated George C. Scott on Doctor Strange.
Oh, yeah. So Mrs. White leaves and goes home because she hears that something happened with Carrie. And Susie Snell comes home, and she's feeling very, very guilty about what happened in the locker room.
There's only maybe four good people in this movie.
I'm going to get to that in the prom sequence, but yeah, there's a couple of really good people here.
Yeah.
Susie's one of them.
Yeah,
she just hangs with a bad crowd, but she doesn't really hang with them. She's just a popular girl who's dating the quarterback.
Right.
Mrs. White goes home, and Carrie very rightly is like, you should have told me.
Yeah, and that's the stance I take. So no matter how religious you are, you know what happens with the body.
You got to prepare.
Right. Yeah. So it's not a complete shock when it happens for the first time.
Plus, it's like, she must be like, she's a senior in high school. She's got to be 17 years old. This is coming way late.
It is. It is. Yeah.
But Mrs. White's having none of that. This is sin. This is the sin of blood. And you got to pray. You got to pray. And she locks her in her prayer closet.
The creepiest
with the
Jesus.
Creepiest fucking statue ever. I think that's real hair on that statue. Nothing in this film is scarier than that statue.
Yeah, it was the eyes that do it. The
eyes glow.
Is it just like a lamp where the light are supposed to be where the eye?
I don't know, but that's like, I wouldn't want to be locked in the closet with that. I'd be screaming and pounding and making shit move too.
Right.
I would develop mind mental powers just to
I
get
gotta
out
get
of
away
the
from this Jesus.
So
Nothing
locks,
personal, Jesus, but this one right here.
locks her in the prayer closet because she's got to pray the sin away.
You gotta pray that sin away.
Oh, right. Yeah.
After this podcast, Carol, we're gonna pray the sin
We gotta
away.
pray the sin away. So meanwhile, Sue has decided she's gonna make matters right with Carrie.
Right.
And she asks her boyfriend, Tommy, who is the star quarterback, to ask Carrie to the prom.
Yeah. Yeah.
All of the girls who participated in the Plug It Up Gate,
Plug gate.
Plug Gate, are sent to detention.
As well, they should have been.
Yeah, and their detention is with Mrs. Collins. So it consists of jumping jacks.
This is a great montage. She works these girls.
The shit out of these girls.
Jumping jacks, push-ups, lunges, squats.
Yep. And all week they're gonna, because the prom is next week, and there's like, if you miss one day of detention, your prom privileges are gone.
I think this is an amazingly great punishment for these girls.
And the one person who decides she's having none of this shit is Chris. And she's like, if we stand together, she can't do this to us. But nobody stands with her.
No.
And once again, here comes
Can't kill
Mrs. Collins. Here comes Mrs. Collins with that backhand. Just smacks the crap out of her.
Liberal with the backhand.
And from what I understand, this was an actual slap. De Palma wanted Betty Buckley to slap Nancy Allen to make it look real.
Lovely.
And depending on who you talk to, there was either 10 takes or 14 takes. So, yeah, that's an actual smack.
Nice.
And so Chris has her prom privileges revoked. She cannot go to prom with her boyfriend, Billy, who is played by John Travolta.
John Travolta. Got one of them older guys.
Yeah. Sue, who is feeling guilty, does talk to her boyfriend and says, I want you to take Carrie to the prom. I'm not going to go.
Now, this, a bit of a stretch. Like, prom is what you lived for in high school.
That is the one point here where it's like, how guilty was Sue? Damn.
Right. Like, let's just take Carrie out for dinner or something like that.
Yeah, or, make it a threesome. Not like a threesome. Just, weirdly, though, they say that they can't go to prom unless they have a date.
I think that's they
that's
just
the
threw that line in there to kind of plug up any. Well, what about?
Why did you just go alone?
Just go on. Yeah, I think that's why they kind of stopgap that.
Tommy is reluctant, but is talked into it. And I don't think he likes Carrie romantically or anything, but I don't think he has any animosity toward her.
He's completely ambivalent, I think.
Yeah, there's a scene where they're in the same poetry or the same literature class, and she compliments his poem or something like that.
Yeah.
But I mean, Sissy Spacek here is almost perfect as Carrie because she's just very
demure
and shy.
Yeah.
And she doesn't talk a lot, and she's very withdrawn. So Tommy reluctantly agrees.
Right.
And goes to talk to Carrie in the library where Carrie is researching mind powers using a card catalog.
Oh, you see, kids.
So children. Before there were computers, we had this thing called the Dewey Decimal System.
I failed the shit out of that test.
We had to go through cards to find where books were in the library.
Oh, man, I hated it. What's the 500s? I don't know.
You couldn't just type in what book is this or a description in a bar. You had to actually know the author and the title of the book.
Yeah.
But sometimes they also had card catalogs that had subjects. So that was kind of nice.
Oh, okay. So they made it a little less abrasive for you.
Right. But she's looking at mind powers because she's moving things with her. She's breaking mirrors and light bulbs and ashtrays. And she's realizing that she's got some mental powers here. Mm-hmm. She's also shutting her mom up.
Which I was 100% okay with this.
Right. So Tommy goes to talk to her in the library and says, you want to go to prom? And she's like, no. She knows it's a setup.
Yeah.
But he's adamant. He's like, he follows her around.
Yeah.
And then she goes to talk to Mrs. Collins, and Mrs. Collins is like, but he's cute.
Yeah, I always wonder, like, in this scene, Mrs. Collins, like, oh, Tommy, that's nice. And this motherfucking Tommy.
Yeah, that's exactly what's going through her head.
Yeah.
But she's like, look at yourself in the mirror. There's a pretty little girl. I like how it's like, you're so pretty. If you put on some mascara and some lipstick and maybe curl your hair.
Yeah, good job with those conditional ifs there, teacher.
And she's like, maybe you should say yes. And Carrie's like, no. But then Tommy follows her home, which I'm like, creeper, dude.
Yeah, all right. I understand that you and your girlfriend concocted this, but
This is getting a little bit pushy.
Yeah.
And he refuses to leave until she says yes. And in order to, make sure that her mom doesn't see him, she says, okay, fine.
Yeah, it's the 70s. Things were way creepier back then.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Chris and her boyfriend are getting creepy in a car because she's pissed because she can't go to prom.
This is a wonderful example of toxic relationship.
Oh, gosh, yeah. He's smacking her around. She's calling him a dumb shit.
Yeah.
This is not a healthy relationship.
Nothing good about
and
this.
She wants to get even with Carrie. And so she displays her talent of talking with her mouth full.
Yeah. Yeah. Really can.
Well, John Travolta maybe wasn't a whole lot.
Maybe
It was
what
easy.
it was.
Talk around it.
She clearly enunciated during that whole process.
It's complete sentences.
Yeah. Subjects, predicates, the whole works.
It's just like she hates Carrie White and she wants to get even with her.
Oh, I just got so irrationally mad whenever she's on. Like, this isn't Carrie's fault. It's your fault for your actions.
Yeah, because you're the bitch.
Exactly.
So they concoct a plan that they're going to go kill a pig, gather up its blood, and you don't know what they're going to do with it at this point. And granted, I know everybody in the universe knows what they did with it at this point.
But when you're watching the movie for the first time in the 70s,
all you see is them killing a pig and then putting a bucket of blood up top. So you get the idea of what they're going to do.
Yeah.
It is an interesting scene when they go to kill the pig because Billy's like wants one of his friends to do it.
Right.
And his friend's like, no.
No.
And Billy has to kill the pig.
That Billy ends up doing it.
Chris really kind of gets off on that.
She does, man. This
icky.
This chick is fucking weird.
She is not a good person.
I feel like had they survived this movie, those two definitely would have gotten married. Wedlock.
Yeah.
And it just would have been horrible and abusive.
Yep. And pity any children they have.
Yeah, their kids probably would have grown up shitty too.
Yep.
So that's where generational shittiness starts.
Yeah. So they break into the school and place the bucket above the stage, the bucket of pig's blood. I don't know when they do this. It's got to be just like a couple of days before prom because, good Lord, that would start to stink. Wouldn't it? It's a bucket of pig's blood.
I assumed it was like...
It would also start to coagulate.
Warning of, yeah.
It would start to like jellify.
Yeah, it's going to get, juicy.
I don't ew. Ew.
Or goopy, maybe?
It'd be, gooey? It'd be gooey.
Yeah, gooey.
Yeah. Anyway.
Whatever, it's not what you want.
No. They rig it up so it's above the stage, and then we get the montage of everyone preparing for prom.
That's a good montage.
Carrie making her own dress, Tommy trying on the most hideous tuxedo with ruffles.
Yeah, man.
So many ruffles.
All about them ruffles.
Wide lapels and ruffles.
Mm-hmm.
It's the 70s. And it's the night of the prom. And Carrie actually looks quite pretty.
She does. It's part of that movie making trope of we gotta uglify her up or just not give her much makeup or makeup to uglify her up. And then we'll do the big reveal there of our actress actually is beautiful.
It's not like Hermione coming down the stairs from the Yule Ball, but it's she actually looks very pretty.
Yeah.
Her mother is like telling her, just tell him no. Just tell him you're sick. And she's punching herself in the face. And
they're all gonna laugh at you.
We'll get back to that in a moment, but we're all gonna laugh at you. And this is where Carrie shuts her up and pushes, mentally pushes her onto the bed. It's like, no, Mama.
Right.
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna have fun. I'll be back early. She's still a dutiful daughter.
I'm gonna go and have fun, but I'll be back at a respectable hour.
It's like, push that. She uses the force on her. It's great. And she goes and Tommy picks her up and they go to prom. And they seem to have a very good time.
It seemed like it was a pretty dope prom.
Right up until one moment.
Well, yeah.
But Tommy seems to be like a nice guy. He seems to be genuinely enjoying her company.
Yeah, he's engaging. He's goofy. He's charming. I think he's finally realized that she's not a bad person.
She's not a bad person.
Yeah,
she's not, she's just shy and it's okay. And she looks fine. And
they seem to generally enjoy each other's company.
Yeah, they dance around and there's this 360 shot that goes on for so long. You get dizzy.
There's a couple of shots that go really long towards the end.
Yeah. And then Sue Snell sneaks in to see how things are going.
She is really invested in
She's
Carrie's
invested in
well-being.
this at this point.
I gave her my prom for this. I want to make sure it goes good, damn it.
And Mrs. Collins is very happy for them. And wait, look, you look so pretty.
Yeah.
And then Carrie notices that their names are on the king and queen of the prom ballot. And
Which I find, well, I guess it's not suspect. He is like the star quarterback.
he's the
or whatever.
quarterback.
So
I think anybody he took was going to get nominated with him.
Right.
And then, he's like, we vote for ourselves.
Of course you do.
So with false modesty. so they vote for themselves. And of course, what happens is Norma, who is Chris's best friend, played by PJ Souls, and her red cap, which, that didn't age well.
All throughout this movie. All throughout.
I think she actually had it on in the locker room. I think she had nothing on but that damn red cap.
She had that hat. As far as I know, every scene she's in,
Yeah.
the hat is there.
Yeah. And she's in this prom dress with her red cap. And she's stuffing the ballot box. She's switching
they
all
got
the
the
ballots.
fake ballots all printed
Right.
out.
And of course, Tommy and Carrie win.
Yes.
King and Queen. And is this really kind of nice? Everyone's clapping.
And this is a scene that goes on for way too long.
Way too long. It's like slow-mo going up the stairs to the stage. And
I feel like the poem was like, stretch this out and let whoever did the score just give them their time to shine right here.
So they're going up to stage to collect. And meanwhile, Mrs. White at home is chopping vegetables really clumsily.
Angry. Big mad with the carrots.
Angry at them carrots. And she's also lighting every candle in existence.
Yes.
Just placing them around the house.
She was very busy while Carrie was gone.
So they get up on stage and everyone's clapping and everyone seems generally okay with this.
Yeah.
And then of course Chris and Billy are up with their little rope and they pull the cord and actually Sue finds the cord, realizes what's happening.
Yeah, since everyone's focused on Carrie and Tommy, and she's just like, this doesn't look right. Yeah.
And Mrs. Collins sees her and thinks that she's going to try and
do something.
So she kicks her out.
Well, she's there without a date.
Right.
Yeah.
So she kicks her out, which is probably good for Sue.
That's
Considering
Sue's
what
only
happens.
saving grace. Yeah.
Considering what happens. So they, dump the bucket and pig's blood everywhere.
Everywhere. Now, this is the question. Is it the bucket that killed Tommy? Is it the fall that killed Tommy?
It's the bucket.
It's the bucket.
Yeah.
Hate to see it.
Yeah. The bucket hits him in the head and he goes down. It's kind of...
It's nebulous in the first one.
In the first one, it's very kind of, did he just die?
Yeah.
It's pretty obvious in the second one, but here it's kind of like, did that bucket just kill him? Damn, son. You play football? Hope your helmet is rolling. You put your bubble wrap on your helmet as well.
He's never been sacked. He's a great quarterback. Great quarterback.
That hair didn't help you?
Some padding, some cushion, something, man.
I'm surprised it just didn't bounce off.
Yeah, I thought that was, of all of this explosive third act, that's the part I was like, they could have done something a little better than a bucket falling on my man. He deserved more.
He did. But he's down and Carrie goes Carrie.
She fucking snaps on these fools.
And she locks the doors and she starts fires and she electrocutes people. And the whole time, Sissy's Basic is just like wide-eyed and completely, she's almost rigid.
Right.
She's got that Carrie pose. She's just frozen and she's just walking.
Going to town on people.
Walking through and killing everybody, including Mrs. Collins.
Yeah, that's
because here she sees people laughing at her, and I do believe that this is in Carrie's head. I don't think everybody is actually laughing at her.
When they're up there on the stage?
Right, after the blood comes down.
Well, yeah, there are. All the people involved in the whole thing were laughing at her.
Norma is laughing, and she's trying to get other people to laugh with her. But if you notice...
Doesn't Norma's boyfriend laugh too? Because he's part of it. He helped her stuff the ballot box.
But there's a couple with, next to Norma, and she's like nudging them to try and get them to laugh, and they're just looking at her disgustedly.
Yeah, okay.
So I don't think the entire auditorium is laughing at Carrie. I think a lot of that. Yeah. And what is so funny is they loop that And it's like, they're all going to laugh at you. Ha, 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 ha. They're all going to laugh at you. Ha, ha, ha. It's almost like a beat. It's like, oh my God, they made a song.
They get a trap beat out of this real quick.
But yeah, I think most of that's in Carrie's head.
Okay.
And she just loses it. Because I don't think Mrs. Collins would be laughing at her.
No.
And I don't think the principal would be laughing because this is a mess.
Yeah. He's just like, oh, job's in jeopardy right now. I got to explain this to the superintendents.
But well, no, he won't because he gets electrocuted and everybody dies, including Mrs. Collins.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, oh, get your righteous retribution. But a lot of innocents who just showed up to the prom to have fun time.
Right. A lot of people who probably didn't even know who the hell Carrie was.
Right.
So, and she kills everybody because she locks them all in that school.
Yeah,
and she burns
everyone who doesn't get electrocuted or impaled in something burns to death.
Right. And the only three they get out are Sue, who was thrown out earlier, and then Chris and Billy, who make a beeline for it after they realize that their bucket just killed Tommy.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then Carrie's walking down the street, completely covered in blood. And there's Chris and Billy, and they're like, run her over. And she just trashes that car.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that was a good muscle car, too.
And then blows it up.
And there goes them.
Yeah. And then she walks home.
See, I always forget about the rest of this.
Yeah.
And they get to the prom, and I'm like, damn, this movie's moving quick. And I'm like, oh, there's almost a fourth act that you got to get through in this movie. Yeah.
So she walks home, and she's like, Mama. But Mama's not having any of it. She's nowhere to be found. So Carrie goes to take a bath, and then you get creepy scene where she walks into her bedroom and closes the door, and there's Mom behind the door.
Right.
So, oh my God, how long have you been there alone?
Yeah, because she walked home, so it's not like she had a lot of advance notice that Carrie was probably while she was in the bath. She just went and kind of scooted on behind that door with the knife.
And then we get Piper Laurie talking about Carrie's conception, and she loved it, and she liked him touching her.
Mm-hmm. Whiskey from the Roadhouse. I guess she showed her dirty pillows.
That's right. You can see your dirty pillows.
They're called breasts, Mom.
And everyone has them, including you.
I was like, BRESSSS is how Sissy Spacek pronounced that. They're called breasts.
But Mom's got a big old kitchen knife, the one that she was hacking at them carrots with.
Yeah.
When she hugs Carrie and says, "We gotta take our, say our prayers," she stabs her in the back.
But we don't know what was the impetus? Like, what is her justification for a woman this religious?
Thou shalt not suffer a witch to live. She says it while she's on the bed.
She does.
She believes because Carrie has these mental powers that she's a witch.
She's a witch. Which, all right, from her point of view, she might not be wrong.
So
a witch.
She stabs her in the back, and then Carrie rolls down the stairs. It's kind of painful to watch, actually, because she's crawling across the floor. And here comes Mom, and she's doing the sign of the cross with the knife, and she's just grinning like a weirdo.
She's hamming it all up.
She is just having the time of her life with this role. And then Carrie takes all of the pointy objects from the kitchen.
Potato peeler.
I think there's a blender in there. Everything. Fuck you, Mom.
And I think this is the first time I've noticed that, all these sharp objects kind of impale Mom to the wall in the exact same pattern.
Yep, as the creepy ass statue in the prayer closet.
Yeah, the creepy ass Jesus in the prayer closet is pierced with arrows.
I think it's actually a Saint Sebastian. Okay. They don't say. It's just you assume it's Jesus because he's in a crucified pose. Yeah. But he's got arrows in him, which I thought was Saint Sebastian. So but Saint Sebastian wasn't crucified. He was pierced with arrows. So I think that statue is just all fucked up in more ways than one.
Yeah.
Carrie kills her mom.
Right.
And she's bleeding out because she's been stabbed in the back pretty deeply. But she takes her mom off the wall that she pinned her to.
Yeah. But the hand still pinned to the wall. But that hand off it. And
then she collapses the house down around them.
The
last thing you see in the damn house is that stupid statue staring at you.
Just a stupid fucking statue. Oh. That's when that statue went to go be part of the Poltergeist movie 10 years later somewhere.
Yeah. And you think that's the end, but it's not.
It's not.
Because you get this nice little
tidbit at the end.
end scene with
They know 'em all.
Sue Snell walking over to the White place, which is now for sale, and somebody has written "Carrie White burns in hell" on the for sale sign, and she's laying flowers. It's all dreamlike. You know it's a dream sequence because there's Vaseline all over the lens.
All of the lens, yeah.
And everything's slow motion because it's Brian De Palma. Yes.
Yep.
And she's put flowers down next to the for sale sign, and then Carrie's hand reaches up and grabs her. But it's all a dream. And Sue's just screaming.
Yeah, and I assume Sue had therapy for years to come.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
I would assume so. In the book, she wrote a memoir, so maybe that was her therapy.
There you go.
Oddly, this scene is odd. Apparently, he filmed it backwards, with Amy Irving walking backwards to get a very specific look. If you look very closely, the cars in the background are moving backwards.
Oh, okay. Well, that's
And he left him like that.
He's like, I want this look. I want this look. All right, De Palma, calm down.
But that is Carrie.
That is Carrie. Let us move on to the remake 2013. Yeah.
2013. So this is relatively new. There is a TV movie in between, like 2002, but it's not a theatrical release, and we deal with the theatrical release.
That we do.
Angela Bettis played Carrie in the TV movie, which they kept the way. See, in the book, she does not stab her mother. She mentally stops her heart.
Ooh.
She just kind of reaches in and stops her heart.
Okay.
And that's how they do it in the TV movie.
Temple of Doom type action going on here. Kalima.
Yeah, the TV movie apparently was supposed to be a pilot for a television show.
The Avengers of Carrie.
Yeah, because she survives it. So
Okay.
I have not seen that one. I think I've seen bits and pieces. I don't know if I've seen it beginning to end.
Yeah.
But anyway, 2013.
Chloe Grace Moretz.
Yeah.
A talented actress who has, as of yet, to do a good movie.
No shit.
Fire your agent, Chloe. Jesus.
This is one of the biggest problems with the movie is Chloe Grace Moretz. Not because she's a terrible actress. She's not necessarily a terrible actress. I just don't buy her in this part.
Why not?
I don't want to say it's because she's too pretty.
That's exactly what it is.
But it is because she's too pretty. I
exactly
can't see this woman. I can't see this girl in high school not getting a prom date, no matter how weird she is.
Some thirsty dude's gonna be like, "Hey, how you doing?"
Some nerd in the library is gonna go, "I bet Carrie White didn't have a date."
Yeah. That's also a little bit unconvincing. But I think this was just a vehicle to get more exposure for.
I don't think Sissy Spacek is an ugly woman, but she has a very unique quality to her, almost an unworldly quality to her.
I agree.
Chloe Grace Moretz is just beautiful. She's more beautiful than the girl who plays Chris or Sue.
Yes.
So I'm like, why is she not a popular girl other than her mother is crazy?
And maybe that's just enough. Maybe it's enough.
So this one actually is a true remake of the movie because, again, they dispense with the book. And they're basing this completely on the movie. Although you do get, at the very beginning, you get Carrie's birth scene.
Yeah, that's some wild business right there.
Apparently she was born at home.
We just give birth with no help from nobody.
Yeah.
And the scissors I keep in my nightstand right here.
Never far from a sharp object is Mrs. White.
No.
Played this time by Julianne Moore.
Great casting.
Yeah. She's one of the better things about this film.
Yeah.
Whereas Piper Laurie notched it to 12, Julianne Moore keeps it at an even 5.
Yeah, she's very low energy.
Yeah. It's basically the same plot. Only here it's 2013, so people have camera phones.
Yes.
And they film Carrie in the shower.
Oh, Jesus Christ. And that, to me, is what makes this girl way worse than the other one.
Yeah. I'm sure if they had camera phones in the 1976 version, that Chris would have been filming it as well.
Yeah.
But but here, they film her and they put it on they put it online.
Yeah, on the internet somewhere. I assume YouTube.
My first part. Okay, so with the Sissy Spacek version, when she has her period, it's a rational amount of blood for being a period.
This is Sam Raimi blood.
This is like freaking River Nile down there. What the hell?
Go see a doctor, ma'am.
Was she saving up for 10 years or something? There's like blood everywhere.
Yes,
and I'm
is.
like, okay, maybe she is dying. I think maybe you should call a doctor.
This one seems kind of serious.
But here also, when she uses the mental powers for the first time, In the original, she breaks a light bulb. Here, she's pushing everything.
Yeah.
And she's pushing people. And I'm like, do
No
you
one's
not notice that?
no one's thinking any different of this situation. No, okay.
So, and here you got Baby Driver playing Tommy Ross.
Ansel Elgort. And I was like, oh, this kid? Okay, I guess.
I can't remember who plays Sue. I know she was in a surf movie.
I'd never seen anything else, whoever she was, that she's done.
Yeah, the two actresses that play Sue and Chris. I don't recognize them from a whole lot. And oh God. Okay. So screw it. We're just gonna go without their names. Because I'm not looking them up. But anyway, yeah, the only people you really need to know are Julianne Moore, Chloe Grace Moretz, and
Baby Driver.
And Baby Driver.
Right.
But it's basically the same thing.
Yeah.
It is very,
very, very close.
Yeah. So, it gets put on the web. Everyone gets detention. Chris blows up. Granted, Mrs. Collins, although her name is not Collins here, it's the book name, which I think is Desjardins.
Yes.
Doesn't smack her around. Doesn't smack Chris around as much.
She does smack Carrie though. Still
she does. She does slap Carrie in the shower because Carrie's freaking out.
Yeah.
And here, Mrs. White, whereas the original Mrs. White enjoyed that whiskey from the Roadhouse. Here, you no, I don't think that Mrs. White enjoyed anything.
Well, I feel like she did say she should succumb to his masculine wiles, whoever this dude
but
was.
I don't think she enjoyed it as much. But yeah, and it, beat for beat follows pretty much the same exact thing. You even get like the prom setup montage. And Tommy has a tuxedo with ruffles.
Of course, yeah, a little callback to the original.
Yeah.
There. I like the change of Miss White works at the dry cleaners.
Yeah, she actually has a job.
Yeah. Also self-mutilates.
Yes. And talking to people. Because she has scars on her leg. Because she's using a seam ripper.
Yeah.
She obviously does alterations. And she's using a seam ripper to stab herself in the thigh.
I feel like it's not explained, and I don't think we would ever get any clarification. But I feel like she did not want to take joy in the compliment that was given to her.
Right.
Because that would make it
Because
pride.
that would make it pride.
Yes. So she gets, job well done. I think it's Chris's mom.
Yeah.
Or Sue Snell's
she's picking
mom.
up. Yeah, she's picking up Sue's prom dress.
Yeah, and Nina did a great job. So she's showering on the praise, and she cannot have this praise shower. No, pride is a sin. Ask Ed Norton.
So, skip ahead and we get to the prom. Because this is basically, Chris and her boyfriend go and kill a pig. They get pig's blood.
She's the one who slices the pig's throat.
Yeah. Here we have the added bit where Sue is pregnant.
Yeah, I didn't feel like that.
I don't think that added anything to this movie.
At all whatsoever.
I'm not quite sure why it was thrown in there.
No.
And then, here, when the blood comes down, you don't get it once, you don't get it twice.
Couple different
Three
angles.
times.
Couple different angles there, yeah.
3 times they show that blood hitting her. And this is where the movie completely lost me. Because up to this point, I was like, oh, this is adequate. I'm not buying this, Carrie, but this is adequate. I like Julianne Moore as Mrs. White. This is okay. But the freak out scene at the prom.
Just way overextended. They're like, we got 2013 money and technology. Let's go for it.
Yeah. Not only is it overextended, but Chloe Moretz is doing this weird thing with her hands and her mouth. And she's like, it's so overacting. It's whereas Sissy Spacek was just like frigid and wide-eyed. And
she's full. Chloe Grace is going full X-Men on this.
She reminded me of the chick from the end of Suicide Squad with the,
the
flailing arms.
Someone on my Twitter made a good point last night when I was watching this. Because I tweeted out, what will we get first? The Winds of Winter or a good Chloe Grace Moretz movie? And he was like, wait, Is it going to be George turning the manuscript or Chloe Grace acting or breathing through her nose for once?
God damn.
Just
Her mouth was open the entire scene, and it looks ridiculous.
And after he tweeted that, I started noticing it everywhere.
And she's just moving her arms weirdly, and it's I don't know what direction she was given, but it was a bad direction.
I don't know if she was given direction.
Just don't be sissy spacek. That's what we're asking you to be. Just don't do it.
Everything, cartwheels if you must. Just don't do sissy.
Don't do sissy. But yeah, the bucket comes down. Here it's pretty obvious that it kills Tommy.
Yeah, nah, you hate to see it.
Yeah. And then, Chris and her boyfriend run off. Sue gets pushed out of the prom. Here, Mrs.
She saves the teacher.
She does. She saves the teacher here. Yeah. Which is a callback to the book because she does not kill the teacher.
Yeah, I feel like that's them making up for what happened in the teacher in the original. Because of all the people that deserve not to die, the one who was treat her humanely.
Yeah, and here the kids are laughing at her because after the blood comes down, they project that.
The video.
Seriously, there would be
some fucked up kids.
If Carrie hadn't just burned down the school and killed everyone, there'd be charges pressed here. This was
oh yes.
And Billy's right, because Billy actually recognizes this. Chris's boyfriend's like, you realize this is assault and battery. This is
strangely enough, the dude who's like the most skeeziest dude in the movie is also like, this isn't right.
We can't stick here. This is assault. You will go to jail for this.
Yeah, we gotta run forever.
And their relationship is still toxic, but it's not as toxic as the Travolta Nancy Allen one. He's not slapping her around. He's being physical.
Yeah.
But he's not like, he's mostly physical when she starts to freak out.
Right.
But I had forgotten that this film was 3D.
Oh, was it?
Until the part where she killed Chris and Billy, because you get the scene where they go to hit her and she stops the car and Billy crushes his face
on the steering wheel.
And then Chris tries to run her over, and she picks the car up and throws it at a gas station.
And then the face.
And her face goes through the windshield, and you can see the glass going. I was like, oh, that's right. This was 3D.
2013.
Yeah.
Damn you, Avatar.
And then the blood coming off of Carrie's arms when she first starts to freak out. Yeah. I was like, yeah, I remember now. This was PG-13. Or this was 3D, yeah. And then she walks home, and Mrs. White has been lighting candles.
Going to work.
The prayer closet here is kind of nice. I got to say, it was an upgrade. There's no creepy ass statue.
No creepy
There's just some, nice pictures of Jesus.
Imagery. Nice imagery.
A couple of pillows. So,
but not the dirty pillows.
Not the dirty pillows.
See your dirty pillows.
I got to say, Julianne Moore saying that is just not. Piper Laurie was just so perfect. I can see your dirty pillows. Everyone can. Here, Julianne Moore's like, I can see your dirty pillows. Do I really have to say this line?
That's the line. She just kind of looked over to the director like, oh.
Really? We're keeping that line.
The writers in the back are like, Stephen King's the other side. Say it. Call Brails.
She goes home, and Mom stabs her in the back, and then she kills her like the movie, not like the book, and pins her to the wall.
Yep.
And then Sue Snell shows up. It's like, Carrie, I want to help you. How can I help you?
Look, man, if I just escaped death, I'm headed right to home. Do not pass go.
You just saw her kill tons of people in an auditorium.
Yeah.
Why are you trying to help her? Look, I understand that Carrie is a very sympathetic character and she's bullied, but bitch is still a mass murderer.
Still a mass murderer. Listen, officers, Carol just did not want to do Oceans. She killed everybody in there. I got out just in time. I went home.
But she's trying to save her, and of course, Carrie's just like, it's a girl.
Yeah. Oh.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh,
I feel like she'd already suspected anyway. So.
We do get the added information that Carrie's grandmother apparently was telekinetic.
A witch?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Which how does she know? Does she know her grandmother?
I'm going to say no.
I was going to say, if she knows her grandmother, why isn't grandma stepping in and going, you really need to just lighten up on your daughter?
I feel like they were just like the removed branch of the
That's
family.
what I think.
Yeah.
But apparently it skips a generation or something. I
don't know.
It's a silly. They try and explain it, and I don't think it needs to be explained. It's like in the first movie, she has her period, and that's what triggers it. Mm-hmm. Here, it's like, oh, it's genetic. It's the Force. Midichlorians.
Oh God, no! Yeah, it manifests. It doesn't manifest earlier, but she starts using it way earlier in the remake.
Yeah, and she's using it like a lot.
Yeah.
In the original, Carrie's still like, holy shit, I just broke a mirror. Here, she's like, I'm moving books. I'm moving furniture. I'm moving everything.
Testing her limits. And to the point where like she turns off the radio when it was already in arm's reach. Like, okay, now you're just getting lazy.
Come on. You're not a remote control. It is nice that they at least have electricity, though.
They know it's small wonders in this day and age.
It was also nice that Tommy Ross picks her up in a limo in this version.
Yeah, he went all out, man. He went all out.
Yeah, so. But, the end is she saves Sue by throwing her like a football length. You might have actually hurt her at that point.
And the baby you just told her about.
And then the house collapses in on her, and that's the end of Carrie and her mom.
There you go, Carrie by burns in hell.
Yeah, and that somebody has written that on her gravestone.
Yeah,
like they're really going to bury them in that town.
I didn't think about that, but yeah.
Who paid for that?
So here's all the people who murdered in a horrible prom, and here's the person who
did it. Yeah, because she's like, when in this one, she's walking through town, she's just blowing all sorts of shit up.
Yep.
So yeah, she killed more than just the people in the auditorium.
And it caused a lot of property damage. Blew up a gas station. That guy didn't have the insurance for that, man. What are you thinking?
It's just some mom and pop store,
Mom and pop store, man.
They didn't know who you were.
You don't wreck local. You go wreck somebody else's stuff. But yeah, this is. I think both of us would agree that the original.
It's the original. I think the original has problems. It's a 70s movie, so there's a dated quality to it.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's 1976. You can't make anything from 1976 and not have a dated quality. It's just, I think the central character Carrie is so much better in the original.
I agree. It's more believable.
Even though she's ratcheted to a 12, I just love Piper Laurie as Mrs. White.
They let her go for it.
Yeah.
They let her go for it.
You know what? We're not, leash is off. Go ahead. Do what you want.
Do your thing. Julianne Moore like, I'm not doing that.
I can't do that. Say the words, Julian. Dirty pillows.
So yeah,
that is Carrie.
Yeah, that is Carrie. I think the remake.
There's a sequel.
Carrie 2.
The Rage.
Keep on carrying.
Electric Breakaloo.
The Electric Movaloo.
Yeah, apparently Sue Snell is in that one.
Yes.
Played by Amy Irving.
I
have not seen it. Yeah, I have not seen it, so I don't know. But yeah, there is a sequel to this.
It's gonna stay unwatched by my eyes.
Yeah. Oddly enough, because I was thinking, well, I'll just. This past weekend, I was like, I got to watch the Carries. And I was shopping at Big Lots for home decor in the Halloween section. And I came across their $3 DVD bin, and there was Carrie sitting right in the front. And I was like, well, what do you know? That's actually cheaper than renting the damn
Divine
thing.
Providence.
Yeah, so I picked it up on DVD.
There you go, man. Now you got it. Was the original?
It was the original.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't going to pay $3. Well, I paid $3 to rent it, but I didn't want to own the. I kind of figured the remake wasn't going to be as good.
Yeah, I had seen parts of it. I'd heard because right when they announced it, I was like, okay, we got a decent actor in Chloe Grace. They're going to remake some. This might be right up her alley.
And I think one of my biggest problems with this is that where they remade the movie, they didn't update it all that much, except for the fact that she takes a video of her in the shower.
Yeah, that's really about
That's it.
Yeah.
I mean, you could have gone into cyberbullying. You could have gone into a whole lot of things. Instead, it's like once that little bit of modernness is done, it's like, okay, we're just going to stick with the original screenplay now.
I think they kind of updated a little bit Chris's version of bullying. Kind of like how they updated it for the new Spider-Man. Like Flash just used to be like a Park. Now he's more of like an affluent class type bully.
Yeah, because you
kinda,
do see Chris's dad comes in here.
Obviously a man of
Bachner,
money. Yeah.
Who, swear to God, if his character hadn't died in Die Hard, I swear that'd be the same character. Because that's the greasy guy.
Is that Ellis?
That's Ellis.
That's Ellis.
That was Ellis.
Oh, shot right in the face.
But man, he when he sat down, I was like, oh shit, man, Ellis survived.
Tell him you don't know me, Hans.
That is exactly what he would look like and act like.
Yep.
I don't think Hart Bachner has ever played anything other than a greasy.
Greasy. Him and Dickless from the first
William
Ghostbusters.
Atherton.
William Atherton. Those two smug offs. They have a smug off with those two.
I saw a really old. Was it Sugarland Express? It was Sugarland. Steven
Spielberg,
Spielberg's first movie. Him and Goldie Hawn, where he wasn't an asshole.
Yeah, okay.
And I was like, holy shit, this is.
He must have had limited screen
wrong.
time. He didn't get to grow into the asshole.
It feels wrong.
The world's upside down. So what are we gonna do next week?
I think we should do Suspiria.
We're gonna do Suspiria next week.
Yeah.
All right. So all you Patreon people, you'll be getting Suspiria behind the paywall. If you aren't a member of the Paprika Patreon, then you're not gonna get that episode, but you can. If you lay down the 7 smackaroos
it's worth it.
for that. It's worth it, man. You can listen to all the past episodes of Refried, see, and the other stuff that is also back there behind the paywall as well. So if you are just in front, just a regular old Pop Riggin, you will hear from us again in 2 weeks as we discuss whatever it is that we discuss in 2 weeks.
Okay.
All right, then. Until then, you guys take it easy and enjoy your October.
That's right.